Now just take your time when you take these valances off, because not all are created equal. I looked up there, I was real careful with it, and I saw how these came off. It's just a little plastic deal at the top, and I just kind of lifted it back a little bit to unclip it, because there's a groove on the inside, and so I just had to do that in 4 spots. So now I don't have the valance. I call that a valance cover, the trim piece, okay? And so now I got to be careful with that. And I looked at these. Remember, I saw those. Those were tight up against the wall. And there's a little bracket underneath there. I take a little screwdriver, undo the screw, and then I can at least move that back and forth. So that way it'll give me just a little bit of extra room to get on the back side of that, to get my paintbrush in there. Okay, but like I said, I'm not going to take this all down. I'm just going to paint around that, the whole blind, and leave the blind in place. There's not much paint having to do here. I can do that with the little mini roller. I can be real careful with that, and then it's all about cut in with the cut-in brush anyways. You see what I mean? And way easier than trying to paint around this trim and not get around it and have it be in your way and that kind of stuff. So what am I trying to tell you? Just spend some time, look at things, and see how they come apart. Don't just get up there and think, oh yeah, I know how this one came apart. It comes off just like the other one, I'm sure. And you start jerking on it and you crack it. Or you break one of the little clips and you're like, oh brother, now what? I knew I shouldn't have done that. I should have just painted around that. VideoJoe keeps trying to throw a monkey wrench in stuff, telling me to do this, that, and the other thing. But now I kind of see why he's telling me to do that, because I just broke something. Or I just painted around something and I didn't get all the way up in there. And then I got paint on the inside of the valance trim. I got paint on that. I got paint on the side of the door casing, because it's a stained oak trim that goes all the way around there. Now I see why he wanted me to take that off. Maybe sometime down the road they take this one off and they install something different. When they take the valance cover off, guess what? You might have changed colors on the wall, and right where the valance trim is vertical right there, they take that off and they see that it used to be a gray wall, and the new paint is the Navajo white color. Now whoever's doing it, they don't know where the touch-up paint is, who left the paint where, when, and is it at the job site? Is it in somebody's garage? How old is it? Did somebody use it for a different job? And now you've got your other valance doesn't fit exactly where this one goes, and it's up a little higher, and you see all this kind of stuff, and you're all done, and the owner doesn't want to pay you until, hey, you told me you weren't going to be messing with my wall. Now I can see where the paint color is. What? You know, you don't have to mess with any of that now, do you? We just paint this with the valance off, and then I can carefully put it back on, because I know how I took it off. Do you see what I mean? So everything has its purpose for sure. As for this, here's one more thing to consider, and I think I touched on it earlier. You're working in a condo. Chances are you've got a tenant separation wall between you and the next condo. You've got somebody up above you. If you're on the first floor, you've got somebody up on the second floor. You got somebody on the other side of this wall. You got somebody on the other side of that wall. So if you're going to start banging around, kind of like how I was doing, trying to find those nails, you know, the little puckers that were coming up, you might want to do that. Make sure, maybe that's one of the first things you do, depending what time it is, thinking, oh yeah, I got all night. I'm going to be painting up a storm all night. Well, you don't want to get to that point and then having to start tapping on the wall here and over there and over here and over there. And then have other vacationers start complaining, and then you get a call from the office, you get a call from from the person that you're doing the work for. Hey, you can't be doing that. People are getting pissed off and such. So just be mindful of stuff like that. And you know, if you want to work all night, you can work all night on a painting job, because most of the time you're not going to be making much noise. The only time you're going to be making noise is like I was showing you with the hammer and the putty knife. Okay, be mindful of that. Now, if you watch my initial preview of this entire project, I was telling you I thought I could get this done in 2 days, 2.5 days. Well, I talked to Michelle, and she said she actually is going to have the cleaner come on Monday instead of Sunday, which gives me an additional day if I need it. That was nice of her, right? It's not like if she had a guest scheduled to come in on Monday morning or Monday after 3 o'clock to check in, or afternoon or whatever, then obviously the cleaner would have to come in here on Sunday and that. But it gives me a little bit more time, because you know, every time I turn around I see something else I should do, and something else that needs to be moved, something else that needs to be patched, something else that needs to be caulked, and so forth and so on. And when I get all done, I know that whatever I take off the walls, I got to put back together. I got to put the bed back together. I got to put the whole bedroom back together. I got to install the doors back on their the door jambs. I've got to put the glass closet doors back up, and do something presentable, at least a little bit. Do a little bit of sweeping up. The cleaners are going to come and do stuff, but the stuff that I've scraped down on the floor and stuff, I'll probably go ahead and, you know, wipe some of this stuff up. I'm not gonna have a cleaner just see scrapings of stuff down on the floor and stuff. I'll still do as good a job as I can, but it gives me an extra day. So you've got to decide what your schedule is. If you only have 2 days, maybe some of these things that I pointed out, you're gonna say, I don't have time for it. I just don't have time. I thought I'd get this done in 2 days. I don't have 3 days, 3.5 days to monkey around on it. It is what it is, and that's what some people end up doing. Okay, so again, what I try to do is I try to give myself enough time for different projects. I try to think about it, and always try to give myself a little bit of extra, because there's always, trust me, any project that I happen to do, it always seems like it takes just a little longer than I think it's going to take. Don't try to think, oh, 2 evenings I'll be done with this, and then think, oh my word, what have I done? I can't get it done. I'm going to just slop it all on there. I got to paint around everything. I don't have time to pull everything off in the bathroom. I don't have, because then I have to reinstall it all. Everything I pull off the walls, I have to reinstall. I can't do that. But I'm telling you, to get a best job, professional painters, what do you suppose they're going to do most of the time? They're going to do the best they can, and pull lots of stuff off the wall, and that sort of thing. And that's just how they do it, and that's how they charge. So you're going to have to think about all the different things that you end up having to do, and just give yourself enough time and you'll be fine.